Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Saturday, April 12th, except Sam's not here. Replace it with the C. Cam is here. Welcome, Cam. How are you doing, man? Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Long time no see.
Good morning, indeed. Let me find the Cam replacement. I have that. I have Noah. I have Jake. I think you're just the top one, honestly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Top one, number one in the HBTC replacements hearts. But we're here, ready to go. We're going to talk a little Jaylen.
You said that with no enthusiasm in your voice.
Listen, if you know me, I am like the least morning person ever, and I woke up maybe 4 minutes ago. So I'll ramp up as the show goes on. We're going to talk about Jaylen. We're going to talk about Luke Kornet. We're going to talk about the NBA standings because the Eastern Conference has been finalized. We'll get into it all. But so stay tuned and leave a like, subscribe, rate us on Spotify if you'd like to help. Rate Celtics Lab too while you're there if you're already on the app. But let's get right into it. Some big-ish news came out today. Jaylen Brown, according to Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, has received injections in his knee. I'll just read it verbatim. Celtics All-Star forward Jaylen Brown received pain management injections in his troublesome right knee this week in an effort to promote healing before Boston begins its title defense, league sources told ESPN. Brown is expected to be ready for the start of the Celtics' first-round playoff series either April 19th or 20th, sources said. This is kind of what Jaylen said to us a couple weeks ago. Like, he hinted at, I've got some stuff ready for the playoffs. It was just injections. It was just getting pain management stuff in his knee. I don't know how you felt when all of this Jaylen knee stuff came around. Sam came on here and he shouldn't be playing. I came on here and I was like, what if he's just trying to get used to it for the playoffs because he knows it won't go away? Yeah. I stand by my take. I think that's what was happening and what is happening, especially considering he didn't hit the 65 game mark and he didn't push for it. But we won't really know. We'll never really know. I stand on the ground of he was just trying to get used to playing injured so he can play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think what I've come to understand is that the question about whether or not he should have rested in April is not the right question. The question is, should he have rested in February? Because we knew that he's been dealing with some sort of knee thing dating back to the winter. And so the time to have rested would have been January, February. What I assume happened was the team was still kind of teetering and he didn't want to, feel like he was missing out on that or abandoning the team or whatever. The time to have rested would have been a 6-week rest in the middle of the season. I think your read is pretty spot on. And I mean, Jaylen said it basically as such that he said something disingenuous insofar as he said rest won't help it. But that's not true. It's rest wouldn't help it now. And he wouldn't have enough time to rest now that it's spring. So I think the read of he's learning how to play a different style. And we know that the Celtics use the regular season as a team and as individuals to tinker and experiment and try things on for size. So that's kind of in keeping with that. And he, in the press conference that we keep alluding to, I think it was after Phoenix, said, Joe has my back. Joe's been really supportive. So I do think when he says, I've been trying to play like Paul Pierce, it's because I can't play at any other speed. So let me maximize this, which is, I suppose, frustrating. And I think he could have done more to convince people that this wasn't a last All-NBA push because it looked like that. I think Zanis at CLNS got people mad because he said it optically how it looks, but that's exactly what it was. Is that we were all wondering if this was an All-NBA push when, if you take him at his word, it wasn't. It was actually just to, get data around how to play with this injured knee. So, yeah, my read is it's a little frustrating. I've kind of emotionally vacillated. Kari Thompson said it well that Jaylen's not just come out and explain everything because he doesn't want to give other teams too much information about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not awful. Injections to manage pain for high performance athletes is not that unreasonable. Mm-hmm. It is a red light for any team that wants to attack a vulnerability in the Celtics defense. Jaylen Brown's a good defender, and now if he's 80% of himself, that might change.
Indeed. I mean, I've talked about this with Noah a lot during the road trip when we were in New York and Orlando and everything. And her point was always if the Celtics training staff went to Jaylen Brown and was like, you need to sit for 6 weeks and then it will get better, he wasn't going to not do that, right? He wasn't just going to be like, no, I am 40 games off of All NBA or 20 games off of All NBA. I need to play for 6 weeks through. Like that doesn't make any sense. Historically, Jaylen Brown
Can
has
I
been
add to
injured as
that?
well. Yeah, please.
He this was off the record, but I think it's helpful enough. I don't think it's that scandalous. He told me in the winter he didn't even want to make the All-Star team. Like he didn't want to be bothered to go to California. I said, "Come on, you went to school in the Bay. That'll be fun." And he agreed, and obviously he did some cool philanthropy stuff with Oakland Exchange. But like to your point about chasing accolades, it doesn't actually seem like that's what he was doing. It really looked like it though, and I think that's the problem.
Yes. But Jalen has never
I
cared.
cut you off.
No, you're good. Jalen has never cared what people think of him, I think, and that's the biggest also other thing to remember. But back to the point you made, like if they were like 6 weeks, then you'll be good. Jalen wouldn't have played through 6 weeks worth of rest to end the regular season if he could have been back for the playoffs. But now the problem is, like what you said, it was probably we don't really know what's going on, and Jalen wasn't gonna like, all right, well, I'm not gonna sit for nothing. And now it hasn't healed, and now he doesn't want to not play in the playoffs, and so we're at the point where it's awkward, which is like, listen, it's not ideal for sure, but I think there's also some context and some understanding to be had. Like Celtics got really, really lucky last year in the grand scheme of things for injuries. Yeah,
For sure.
Kristaps missed a lot of the playoffs, but everybody else was healthy. Almost the entire season, everybody else was healthy. That was not the case this year. Drew missed a lot of time with shoulder issues.
Games.
And they still won 60 games. Drew missed a lot of time with shoulder issues. Jalen missed a lot of time or has bbeen hampered by this knee issue a lot. Sam Hauser has been super injured this year. He's just powered through it. His back issues have clearly been bothering him. Al Horford's toe. I think the real reason the Celtics have been so consistent over these last few years, Tatum and Derrick White, and knock on wood, obviously, have been Iron Men forever. Like they always play. Yeah. Peyton Pritchard too. And so having three guys who literally just set the 3-point record, all of them individually broke the Celtics 3-point record, also be three of the most healthy players in Iron Men and always wanting to play the NBA, again, knock on wood, like that helps a lot. But the injury bug comes for everybody time and time again. It's inevitable, and it got Jalen right now, and it looks like he's playing through it. For what it's worth, and we've explored this, in conversations, just chatting at games and also on the pod, he's been pretty efficient while he's been injured. So it's just going to see how he manages it.
I mean, I think he played a little less than early in the season when he had the hip injury. He openly said like, hey, it's Ramadan, I'm not eating, so things are going to be a little sideways. I think that Knicks game was just like kind of a mess, and it just came at the wrong time. I don't necessarily think it's symptomatic of anything. So look, they're either going to get Atlanta or Orlando in the first round. If the Celtics can't win that round with Jaylen Brown hobbled, the only, again, if he is more hobbled than he cares to admit and he becomes a huge defensive liability, that's a different conversation. But if the Celtics lose to Atlanta or Orlando in the first round, they weren't a healthy Jaylen Brown knee away. Something way bigger was up.
Exactly.
Front, right? So
100%.
I think he'll play through it. I don't think he'll like shut it down. If he did skip the first round, he would basically get a month off, which would be kind of cool. But I think the suggestion that he's got to figure out how to deal with this perhaps wobbly knee, because it probably is 6 to 8 weeks of rest away from getting better. Because the problem is it's a bone bruise and an impingement and a little bit of tendonitis. Mm-hmm. So it's all there's not really like a procedure. There's not really anything.
His knee's just fucked up. Just fucked up.
I want to push back on that because it's not Rob Williams. It's not Embiid. It's not.
No.
It's not broken and he has to go see a doctor. It's
of course
sore and messed up.
There's a lot wrong.
Like soften that, right?
Of course. There's just a lot wrong with it. Like a lot of individual things that, like, if it was just one of them, would be like, all right, take a couple days, you'll be good. But since it is all of them, it is all right. This is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you're right. It is not like a hampering long career issue. It is just,
and I don't think wrong. I don't think there's like a surgery to clean it up or anything. Like I don't think he's delaying.
That was my other theory too. Well, that was my other theory. Like, what if it is he needs surgery on it but wants to play in the playoffs? So the only thing he can do now is get used to it until he can have the surgery, which I don't think is as true anymore. Yeah. But all right. Let's watch a Luke Kornet smear campaign.
Completely changed. No, it's a Derrick White smear campaign.
Derrick White smear campaign run by Luke Kornet. So for those who don't know, Derrick White is the leader in the clubhouse for the Tommy Award, the season-long Tommy Award this season, because he has earned the most Tommy Awards this season. I believe Luke is second. Is that why this was run? Luke is second in the Tommy Awards race. I
Yeah,
believe
something
he's
like
up
that.
there. And so they played this on the broadcast last night, correct?
Yeah, can I
Please preface.
wait, are you going to the event later today?
No, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah, I'm
believe
not
so.
going either. I just saw a post about it. So Luke is running for the Tommy Award, and they cut a fake political ad for him, smearing Derrick White and also advocating for himself. Matt Reynolds, the coach, when he came to Lexington High School to talk, he said something about the fact that like Luke's chemistry is so important to this team, that one of the like glue guys of the team is Luke Kornet, and so whether it's a miscellaneous group of players or coaches, Luke just hops in and does icebreakers or tells funny stories or whatever, and he just makes sure that guys just are hanging out and feeling loose and comfortable. And so,
Yeah.
even though this ad is cute and charming, it's symptomatic of something that might actually be rather important. That Luke's value to this team is pick and rolls and making people laugh on what can otherwise be kind of like a boring long regular season. So with that backdrop, Luke,
I mean,
Luke does have. I know you're a Derrick White guy. I think Luke has my vote.
well, end of
So
September, I did write a story called "The Origins and True Meaning Behind Luke Kornet, the Comedian." So if you'd like to read about it, go
wow,
check it
okay.
out. I'll
Good
put
timing.
I'll put it out there. It includes a Phineas and Ferb cameo too, which I'm not going to explain
Tremendous.
because
So they played this on the broadcast last night, and then NBC Sports Boston put it on social media. I don't know if they'll run it again. I wonder what the voting process for that looks like, quite frankly.
Indeed. All right, let me put us in a advantageous YouTube backdrop to watch something. That's not it at all. This is it right here. Put us in the side screens. Here is it.
You haven't seen this.
I watched like briefly at the game, but I couldn't hear it well, so I haven't really seen.
Okay, so you'll
So
react
let's
live.
indeed. Let's take a
I'm gonna
look.
mute myself because I'll be
Me
laughing.
too. Me too.
No.
The Tommy Award, one of our nation's highest honors. And it's going to a guy like Derrick White.
You seem a little subdued. Aren't you excited?
You seem a little subdued.
Subdued? Yikes. The Tommy Award is about energy, honor, and valor. Does Derrick White have the endorsement of some of the team's most veteran members, like I do?
Having Luke as a teammate is amazing.
He's one of the, those key parts of our team.
Was hoping for a little more there. Well, at least nobody said anything bad about me.
Derrick's had a year. Derrick is a...
Are we sure Derrick White actually chipped his tooth and kept playing? Who knows with AI running rampant? And what does Derrick have to say for himself?
Nobody cares.
Wow, makes you think. Some are saying Luke Kornet is the People's Tommy Award winner.
I don't know where we'd be without Luke.
I'm Luke Kornet, and I approve this message.
He like pats the
What?
beam.
What a ridiculous thing, man. Oh,
I'd love
my
to know how
God.
much of that the writing he did there.
Probably a lot. Like I would believe he did a lot of it. That's so awesome. You know what's funny? The lead to my Luke Kornet comedian story is Luke Kornet won Homecoming King in high school. Shocker. Because it's just the most obvious thing of all time. He's just that he's just that guy, man.
Well, what's funny is he is a math major. He's married to an econ major. Like he can also nerd it up. I mean, it's a rare combination of nerdy and like sincerely quite charming.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, he like played. He was in the high school musical. He had like 2 lines. Like he did a lot.
What was the musical?
I don't know. So the what I got was
We
from
got to track that down.
Daniel Fife, who was his like friend in high school. So there was a modern. I have it. There was a modern adaptation of Robin Hood. He played a character that had, I think, maybe 1-2 lines, but there were some musical elements to it, some dances and such. So he was in it for the fun of it. You know what's also funny? You know that Derrick White clip where he's like, "No one cares." talking about Joe Mazzulla. I asked that, and everyone
nice.
just clips out the question. I went around. I go, "What is your favorite?" You know, what's actually really funny. I went around asking like, "What's your favorite Joe Mazzulla quote?" And what came out of it was that and the fucking stupid whales, because that's what Sam Hauser told me.
The whales thing is not. First of all, orcas are not whales; they're porpoises.
They're killer whales.
Yeah, but that's a misnomer. They're not whales; they're porpoises.
They're killer whales. So it's like...
But that's a different thing. They're in the cetacean family, but they're porpoises. They're technically dolphins. They're not whales. Second, last night on the Jumbotron, when Al Horford said he'd like a pet orca, Missoula has turned him onto orcas, which is tremendous. But also, the killer whale offense, it turned out to not be tongue in cheek. I mean, they really do.
No, it's so real.
Yeah, like it's a real like backbone of how they run their offense.
100%, and it makes for a great analogy too, because I called the Pacers SEAL Team 6.
Cute. Yeah, I'm curious about the Pacers. They're good again. They're like go to the conference finals, maybe good if either the Celtics or the Cavs blink.
I think the Cavs would have trouble beating the Pacers in a playoff series. That's my hot take.
But I think the Celtics are going to the finals without unless Jason Tatum breaks his leg in half. There's no chance the Celtics aren't going to the finals.
I agree.
We have to for the next 6 weeks pretend like that's not true, and
they got to get there.
They got to get there, but I just I don't see any team in the East that's like even half of the defensive team. Who's the second best defensive team in the East?
I don't think defense matters to beat the Celtics. I don't think there's a defensive team in the league that can compete with the Celtics except for the Thunder. I think what matters what matters is the Pacers keep the offense up and run so much that it's hard to keep up with them. And so I think that's why they match up best with the Celtics in the East.
Well, the Magic are the second best defense in the
Magic played a lineup of Torrey Craig and Baylor Sharman to put up 96 points. They have no chance.
Yeah. Let's see, since January 1st. Cut out all that.
Mm-hmm.
The Detroit Pistons, that feels more appropriate.
There's just no like well-rounded enough team. Anyways.
No, so that's the problem is the Pistons are maybe good enough on defense to like muck it up for the Celtics, but they're not nearly good enough on offense to hang.
They can't do it. Cade needs more help before they get there. But before we continue, I need to tell the good people home about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season, this baseball season. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings to make daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Baseball season is finally getting underway. You can choose lineups with strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, anything like that. Just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 extra cash. As the playoffs begin for basketball too, you can mix and match different sports. So if you want to choose a basketball player's points and a baseball player's RBIs, you can put them in the same lineup to have even more fun. Sam and I do the prize picks on our pregame show every single time. We're not very good, Cam. I think our record has now jumped to 0-19-3. We have never outright won. We are very bad at it, but that doesn't mean you can't be better than us because the bar is very low. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right. Let's jump over to the NBA standings here. Check out what's going out around the league, I should say, excuse me. And let's start with the Eastern Conference because it's done. The Eastern Conference is done. Nothing else can change in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if I have a Cam fill in for the NBA section, so you might just have to be Sam
today
for the NBA section. But Eastern Conference is solidified. Everybody has solidified their place. So the East will be as followed: Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, Pistons, Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat play-in, Raptors, Nets, Sixers, Hornets, Wizards.
Just zoom in on the top 10. We don't need the
true.
All the
that means
stats there.
That means the Celtics will be playing either the Magic or the Hawks in the first round of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just to explain for folks, the first play-in game is Tuesday in the East. We're pretty sure, and the winner of that game immediately becomes the Celtics' opponent. The playoffs start the 19th. But because the Cavs would have to wait for the second round of the play-in to see who their opponent is, and their opponent would be need to rest, I'm almost positive the Celtics will have the first slate of games. So their first will be.
I think they'll play the 20th. I don't think they'll play the 19th.
Why?
Because I think the 20th will be the 3-6 and 4-5 matchups, and then the play-in games. I think they'll do 4 games on the 19th, 4 games on the 20th. Do you know what I'm saying? Because those games are
Gotcha.
already solidified. Because we already know the Knicks are playing the Pistons and the Pacers are playing the Bucks, so they can always already start game planning. So I think it'll be a mix of those games that day, and then a mix. I think they'll spread. I don't even think they'll have all the games in the first 2 days. I think they'll have the 19th, 20th, and then some of the first games will be on the 21st. Or I don't know if that's possible, but I think the play-in, like the 1 and 2 games, will be on the 20th. That's my windy finger. So
that's Sunday. That's a week from tomorrow. Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought about this as I was
astute.
Seeing
Very
if
good.
I could book.
Maybe the only shenanigans, because if the Celtics and Orlando are locked in, or the Celtics and the Hawks locked in by Tuesday, I mean, they can sort that out. And if they want the Celtics to headline,
sure,
Saturday night. Okay,
but
I guess it's a little more unsettled than. First of all, we landed in 2 different days, but I guess it's a little more unsettled than that.
If I'm Joe Mazzulla and they're like, "Well, we want you headline," he's like, "I don't give a fuck what you want. You put us on this day."
Do you think they have an input on that?
No, but he can definitely complain.
Sure.
But yeah, Magic or Hawks are going to be the Celtics matchup. I'm sure we'll get way more into that when we definitely know. What we definitely do know, though, is Knicks, Pistons, Pacers, Bucks. Cam, what do you think of those?
Sorry, I'm just pulling up. I did a poll last night. Celtics fans, 59% to 41% think the Magic are a tougher opponent than the Hawks, but we can say
that is absolutely insane. I think that is silly.
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to save it for later?
Sure. We can do it a little bit. We don't have to go into the
all right, tell the people why they're wrong.
Well, listen, like the Hawks at least have an offensive engine. The Hawks have an offense. They also have a defense, right? They can muck it up on defense. If they want to go to a non-Trey lineup, they immediately become a quality defensive team. They have Jalen Johnson, they have Dyson Daniels, they have Onyeka Okongwu or Clint Capella at the 5. They can run, a mix and match of the annoyance of George Niang or Zachary Risha Schaefer's length, that they have looks to go to, but they also have an offensive engine to where like, I'm not saying the Celtics are the same team as 2 years ago, but Trae Young can win you a playoff game or 2. He just can. That's just who he is. The Magic cannot score. They do not have offense. They are not capable of putting up points on the offensive end. They averaged 105 points this year. Do you know how bad this is? We're talking about how great their defense is because they gave up 105 a game. They scored 105 a game. Like, do you know how
and the big 2025? That's kind of insane.
That's horrible. The next lowest team around the league who scored as few points as they did a game is the Hornets and the Wizards and the Nets. They are on par with those 3 teams, none of whom sniffed the playoffs. Like, it doesn't come close to me, man. If the Celtics make 10
can I
threes,
say something counterintuitive, though?
Please.
They might beat the Hawks in that first game. Like, they're good enough to advance and actually become the Celtics opponent. I 100% agree that they're not at all a concerning opponent for the Celtics.
To be perfectly clear, neither are the Hawks. Like, the Hawks should also
no, but the Hawks, like, to your point, like, they've gone to the conference finals in recent memory. Like, they have experience, they have poise, they have
Daniels guards Tatum really well because he's really good.
Really well.
Exactly. That's my thing, but yeah.
No, I mean, look, the Magic are starting Corey Joseph as point guard. They've got Jonathan Isaac. Bobby Kravitsky told me this. Jonathan Isaac has played more games this season than he has in the past 3 seasons, and obviously he's been super injured and whatnot. But like, that's not a huge recipe for success. And Franz and Paolo are 2 very, very good players. I don't think they know how to coexist well enough to like iron sharpens iron.
And they don't have a good supporting cast either. So
yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think the Magic, because they're so ferocious on defense, could totally pop the Hawks in that one game, and they would be home. So that's an advantage. And the Hawks, I mean, the Magic have the Orlando Magic song. That's got to count for something. I mean, that's special.
Orlando. I got to hear it in person the other day. It was sick.
Oh, I didn't really. That's cool. I really like.
Orlando
I really
Magic.
like.
Orlando Magic. It's a great song.
The Celtics have a really important, professional, serious brand that if you
I wish it was more fun.
But it can't, you know what I mean? Like, it can only be so fun because it has
Listen, people hate this take, and it's sort of similar to the one I told you yesterday that I won't say here. I know. Whatever.
New
everyone
World
is
Order
like the
Jack over here.
Celtics. People are gonna hate this. People hate when I say this shit. Everyone's like Celtics have the best jersey in sports. They have the best jersey.
No, they don't.
No, they fucking don't.
Not the jersey.
Sam's consistently on here like it's the best jersey. It's classic. It's fucking boring, bro. And I get it's classic and it's cool for that reason. No, not like the Kings jerseys, fucking awesome. The cursive and the colors.
Yeah.
The Suns jerseys with the fucking the thing across the vice jersey. Like, put a little flair into it, man. Look at the Kings.
No,
the beam. The beam is sick. The Orlando Magic song is sick.
So
like,
okay, so that's where there's 2 points here. One, the brand itself is professional, important, and the Celtics
I get it.
sell a lot of tickets to professional older people, right? Like they have a adult fan base. If you're the Magic or the Kings, I don't know if your corporate partners are like the biggest deal. I think
Sure.
selling memes on like the beam matters. It's funny if you go on Celtics TikTok, they're playing to a different audience, but the way the Celtics talk about themselves and market themselves is very austere, right? The jersey thing, I 100% agree with. I think the Cavaliers might have some of the sexiest jerseys around.
Oh,
I
I
just
thought you were
love
going
that- I
the
just love that
opposite
color.
direction. The Cavs?
Yeah, I think that the white with that just like splash of burgundy or whatever color. I think the Pacers.
Wow.
I don't think that I like the Celtics home whites. I think their green is perfectly fine. I don't think it's. I think. Let me think about this. I think Lakers home whites are among the best jerseys in the league. I
think
love the
Kings have the best
Cavs,
jerseys. The Jazz's new jerseys are the best in the NBA.
but I'm thinking of like all time. It's professional. It's classic. It's everlasting.
They all suck.
They don't all suck.
They're all boring. There's a reason
What about the
people
Pacers?
update. No, the circle. Ugh, gross, nasty. No. I don't like those at all. I like the Knicks, but I think that's just because I like orange. like,
So in
it's
any
just-
event, the Celtics could do a Orlando Magic jingle, but ending the game with like Red Auerbach lighting a cigar and Geno time
cool.
suits the team better because the average age of fans there is not like college kids with nothing to do or whatever. You're
I
just
like the cigar thing though. At least it's a little
Yeah.
bit more unique. Like having that, like,
and it's earned,
I don't know.
obviously.
yeah, exactly. Anyways, Knicks Pistons or Pacers Bucks, whichever one you want to start with. What do you think?
It's almost too obvious to say that the Knicks Pistons is
Say
the
it.
most exciting because the Knicks are 0-10 against the Celtics, Cavs, and the Thunder this season. Like the Knicks aren't good, and the Pistons are hungry, have nothing to lose, are playing only with house money, and it's a pretty classic bad boys '90s matchup. So that should be a real rock fight. So I don't know. Part of me, a certain part of me wants Giannis to go Superman and just drag the Bucks to the conference finals or something. The other part of me kind of wants them to go out sad, so they can just like this horrible, awful season that they had can just die. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable that they have won 47 games given how they started.
Giannis
given
is
that
incredible.
they lost to Dame. Yeah, Giannis rocks. Giannis is the best player in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Bucks are not to be underestimated for that reason, even if
Definitely.
he's playing alongside Bobby Portis and like the skeleton of Brooke Lopez. So-
Hey, don't forget about Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah. They're both interesting matchups for that reason because the Pacers look really damn good, but Giannis is by far the best player in that series. So I kind of hope it's just like Pacers just run the Bucks out of the gym
Fun.
for 4 straight games, and
Okay, yeah.
the Bucks can like rest and reset, and Giannis can ask for a trade or something. Knicks Pistons is going to be like a stellar rock fight, and I don't really mind if the Knicks go outside because that's kind of fitting. But I'd like to see a few games of that. So I think Knicks Pistons, if that goes 6 or 7, that's just fun basketball, even if it can be
Yes.
ugly basketball at times.
I think Knicks Pistons is a win-win for Celtics fans because you either get a fun like Pistons team that is, excuse me, beating the Knicks, or the Celtics get to play the Knicks in the second round of the playoffs, which would be light work. I think the Knicks are terrible. I don't think they'd give the Celtics any problems. I think the Celtics should rather play the Knicks in a playoff series because I think they'd stomp either team, but the Pistons would be more annoying.
So does the Celtics get winner of Knicks Pistons either
matter
way? Because
what.
that's the size of the bracket. Yeah.
No matter what, yeah.
Because when was the last time they used to reseed the playoffs? But that was
I don't remember.
a long time ago. Now, I
They
think.
do it for football, but
Yeah.
and then Pacers Bucks. I just think the Pacers are a better team. With a better.
Sure. Also, Pacers Cavs is fascinating, high octane stuff. I mean, the score of this game's gonna be like 130.
I think the Pacers will win that series. I think it's going to be Pacers Celtics conference finals again. I think the Pacers.
Yeah, the Celtics are going to the finals.
Pacers are the second best team in the East when it comes to the playoffs, 100%. And I don't think they could beat the Celtics in a series, but
the only, I don't know. I'm like inclined to say Evan Mobley has the keys to proving you wrong, but
maybe if he gets out in the playoffs from three.
Siakam's not a great defender, but he's a pretty good sized player to just like completely take Mobley out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you got the shot blocking and Miles Turner helping over. I just think go faster. I don't know. I could be very wrong. I'm skeptical to believe in the Cavs just yet. But I guess we'll have to see. However, before we keep going to the Western Conference, I need to tell you about Gametime. It's the best place for all your ticketing needs this baseball season, this basketball season, as it wraps up. Everything you got. Let me pull up Gametime so that I can show you exactly what I'm talking about and why it's the best place for all your ticketing needs. Let's take a look at Monster Jam, Cam. Why don't we at Gillette Stadium? So I can show you exactly why. You can see the exact view from your seat at what you're going to see for that event too. So Gametime has a Monster Jam setup. And what it will look like from that seat at Gillette Stadium. You can see the star here for a great deal. You can see stars here for an amazing deal. And the best deal in the whole stadium is highlighted right here with the super deal. It also has the cheapest ticket in Gillette in the stadium, except there's a little bit of football action for this one. But you can see exactly what the layout will look like here too on the right, where it shows you the exact setup of the Monster Jam. You can toggle on and off features to show you hidden fees, so you don't get surprised with hidden fees, I should say, at checkout, so you know exactly what you're paying when you are buying your tickets through Gametime. It also comes with the lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. And Gametime Picks, which means curation makes it easier to save money on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. All right, let's look at the Western Conference. OKC has long wrapped up the top seed out west, but behind them is a slew of uncertainty, and we do need to we don't need to expand because it's still the top 10. But Thunder in first, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Kings, Mavs. Now, to put a little bow on that, Kings, Mavs locked into the 9-10, right? They are going to be the 9-10 game at this point. It's just who is going to get the home court advantage.
Yeah.
Grizzlies stuck in the play-in officially. They lost the Nuggets last night, so they are going to be a play-in team, which is tough considering they were the 3 and 4 seed for a while. They're stuck there. Lakers and Rockets
I think the Rockets are stuck in the 2 seed now, and the Lakers are stuck in the 3rd seed.
Rockets are a 2 seed. I don't know if the Lakers are stuck in the 3rd seed, but I think they have clinched a playoff spot. They will not.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I don't think they're going to play
it. However, Nuggets, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves. Anything can happen. Nuggets and Clippers are 49 and 32. The Warriors and Timberwolves are 48 and 33. They all have, what does that mean? 1 game left.
Yeah. It all comes down to Sunday, I think. Oh, actually, there might be games tomorrow night.
And so they're all fighting for, at best, home court advantage in the first round, at worst, play-in. So there's a lot on the line in the West, and it's very, very interesting. And then you can see at the very bottom, the Suns missed out on the playoffs. Embarrassing.
How about Jokic officially is going to average a triple-double this season?
Just ridiculous, man. He's insane. Is he your MVP?
Like,
if you had a vote
personally, or if I was
if you had a vote to cast.
I don't know. I've never had a vote to cast, so I've never really ironed out what my value system is for MVP voting. I think best player, best team is a pretty simple way of doing it. And
So
like
would you have
Shea,
voted for Tatum last year?
no, because yeah. So okay, so I mean, Jokic was that good. Look, I think Jokic is my favorite player to watch, like favorite star player to watch in the NBA. I think he understands basketball at like such a insane level. He's Magic Johnson reincarnate. He just looks like he works at like an auto body shop or something. So I have a strong bias for Big Honey. What Shea is also really exciting to watch, and they're both just like the numbers are staggering. I think I would pick Shea because there's never really been like a lull in his production or a lull in the Thunder's production. It's just been an absolute wagon. I mean, they're going to win 67 or 68 games. Like, that's extraordinary. I don't think Jokic has been as consistent. And obviously the season has been a little more turbulent, even though they might win 50 games. So I'd probably pick Shea, but I think that anyone who doesn't think that Nikola Jokic is going to be when he hangs it up, one of the top 10 NBA players of all time, hasn't been paying attention.
It's tough. I think I would vote for Jokic, but I have no problem with Shea winning.
Yeah, that's how I feel
He's
too.
having an incredible season, and I absolutely understand voter fatigue. It's just a shame. It's like Lamar Jackson not winning MVP this year. Like his best season of his career, he's not going to win MVP, even though he's won it before, because there's just another guy who's having an incredible season too, and the narrative fits better. Yeah, that's what it is, right?
I mean, what's nice is neither team is really getting like a big market bump or anything, right? Like if one of these guys played for LA, it would be blouses. Like it would just pull over just the weight of the voting and the narratives and the momentum.
So then, what do you think first team's going to be? Tatum, Jokic, Shea, Giannis. Insert fifth player here, right? I think that's
probably pick Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I've seen some people saying Ant instead as well because he's having a good season. Donovan Mitchell makes a lot of sense, but his stats, I don't know. You know, it's probably gonna be fucking LeBron. It's probably gonna be LeBron.
I mean, he's gonna make one of the All NBA teams. I haven't really sat and done it yet. We were gonna do it on the podcast, and then we got Kristaps instead, so that took priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum's gonna make it. That's all that really matters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how about them Celtics, not how about them basketball players.
Exactly. Let's go to the NBA section and do a little bit of Nuggets talk. So the Nuggets were apparently miserable before they fired Malone. This is from Tim McMahon and Ramona Shelburne. One source described the players as being freaking miserable. And that's in quotes. In the final weeks prior to Malone being dismissed, quote, "The players were freaking miserable, man," the person said. "You could see it. The effort would come and go. I just wish it happened sooner. We wouldn't be in this mess." A source told McMahon and Shelburne, Joker is really good at letting you know with how he feels without saying anything. This feels like a lot of speculation. So the person going like, you could just see how miserable they were. Maybe they knew, and maybe they were like also saying that they could see it.
Maybe Jokic is the source on this.
Yeah, people weren't happy that when Malone was still there. And also on top of that, Brian Windhorst apparently reported that Malone was not calm when they fired him. He said it got out pretty quickly in the NBA that Michael Malone's reaction to being fired was not calm, which is not a surprise. I don't blame him.
Can I make this about the Celtics?
Sure.
Two things. One, the Celtics are the best run team in the NBA. If this happened, you wouldn't hear any of this crap. Like they don't leak. They don't do that. I know that we like sort of think we know what happened with Ime Udoka.
We don't.
But if that happened with any other team in the league, we would know everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Celtics are such a well-oiled professional machine in that way. Second, and so like if it ends up being Joe's time at some point, I don't think it's going to go down like this, right? Like I think they'll put out a press release, they'll say thanks, and it will be an amiable, polite, dignified thing. Unless even the Udoka thing, which was a scandal, they didn't sling mud, nothing crazy came out of that. Second, I think the caricature of Joe Mazzulla as like a psycho weirdo is cute and fun, and you and I, we're in the snake pit. We see it the way the fans see it, but we also know that not even behind the scenes, just the broader, like you zoom out just a little bit, Joe is patient. Joe is gentle. Joe is
Good
relaxed.
dude. A really
Like,
good dude.
Really good dude. But like also, I think he's playing Drew Peterson not just to see what he's got out of Drew Peterson, but to get buy-in from his bench to take pressure off his starters. Like he does things that I think emotionally and mentally support his guys in ways that goes so far beyond the Hardo thing. And I don't think Mike Malone is incapable of that. And I think that probably he does things like that all the time. Same with Taylor Jenkins. But I do think that Missoula's like cantankerous, intense approach is going to be more sustainable because, he supplements it with all the important things that like let guys breathe, let guys be themselves, let guys disagree, let guys be angry. And I'm not dialed into the Nuggets or Grizzlies at all, obviously, but I don't get the sense that was what was going down with Malone or Jenkins in the same way. So look, if Joe was here, he would say, I was hired to be fired. He knows that he's not outlasting Jason Tatum on this team unless he's here for 20 years, right? Like he is not going to.
I think he will be. That's my theory, but anything can
happen.
happen,
I'm pretty open to that as well. And I don't think Jason is the kind of guy who runs coach out of town, but all of which is to say, I like Mike Malone's vigor quite a lot. I don't. It doesn't seem like there were many shades of gray there, and so that just familiarity breeds contempt. I mean, big personalities are you get tired of them in the first place, but when they're grading the way Malone and Jenkins is, I don't know. So my read is that Jokic wanted him fired, and the amount of leaks that are coming out are either the Cronkies are just bad dudes, or the players are.
Well, I saw players were upset that he was giving like Westbrook special treatment. He was like treating him slightly differently because they didn't love it when he did it with Jokic and Murray, but they understood it. But then when Westbrook came in and he got the same, they were like, "What the hell?" Which I get, whatever. Just a weird firing. Last thing is Luka Doncic crying at the Mavs tribute video. Everyone has seen it by now. We don't have to pull it up and watch it, but apparently it was like just like I thought I had like a quote on this or something, but Luka, Dan Woik of the LA Times was asked him about like all the reports that he had bad work ethic, and Luka said, I had no idea, like I didn't end up here by mistake, I worked my ass off to be here, so it's kind of disrespectful just to say that. I said he was quote unquote stung by it. Listen, man, you could see how upset he was. I know you tweeted about it, and I 100% agree with you. Like, this dude just really fucking loved being a Maverick. Like, he loved Dallas. He loved being there. It was and when you think about it in the context of like, this is the only place in the United States that he knows. Like that was it, right? Like the same thing for Jokic in Denver. Like they came over from Serbia and Slovenia, respectively, or Luka from Slovenia, Jokic from Serbia, and like they went to a team. They got drafted by a team. They've worked there. That is all they've known. Giannis, Greece to Milwaukee. Like that is all they know. That is their home in the United States. And you take Luka and not only rip him out of it without any indication, but rip him out of it, slander him, and ship him out and say, this guy fucking sucks. He's fat. He doesn't work hard. Like, he's awful. From a city that loves him, like, unbelievably so, and he loved the city, and then you plop him down. I saw someone tweet out, like, this is like getting divorced from your ex-wife in therapy, making you watch the highlights of her with her new husband. Like, that sucks. Like, that's so shitty. So you feel for Luka a little bit. Obviously, there's the context of he's a millionaire. He's on the Lakers now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
People with money have feelings.
I agree. I'm on your side. I am just
that take
presenting
is so
the points people are
stupid to
making.
me.
I agree with you.
I'm not gonna cry if they like raise his taxes, right? Like, or if they put up like affordable housing in his neighborhood, like that. I'm not going to defend him on. But he is a human being, and like to your point, being spurned by his workplace and by the city he loves. Yeah, Rick, my dog, agrees emphatically.
Shout out Ricky Bobby.
Are you talking to me? Yell at my dog.
Yeah. I don't care. Ricky Bobby can get a shout out on the show. Listen, like
the neighbors upstairs are hammering, and I don't think Ricky's ever heard someone hammer or something before.
That's fine. Yeah. Continue your point. Let him bark.
The Luka thing is just, it's sad. Like another analogy might be if you're you're a college kid and your college just sent you to a different college. Like that's the place where your friends are. That's the place where you live. That's the place where, in Luka's case, his wife and I forget the gender of his child, but he has a baby. You'd be really pissed off if you were like a happy kid at Syracuse or UMass and they shipped you to Georgia Tech or something, right? Like we continue to talk about the Luka trade because it is indeed the most surprising and perplexing trade perhaps in North American sports history. Look, maybe history will soften those edges because Luka won't be as good as all that with the with the Lakers, and maybe AD will be quite good with the Mavericks. And in retrospect, it will look okay. But where we sat in February and here where we sit in April, it's still just like absolutely staggering. It's also, I can't think of worse business. I think Forbes reported, I don't want to, maybe it was someone else, that the Mavericks are going to lose 9 figures on this. When the Spurs drafted Wembanyama, the value of that franchise went up $500 million overnight. Like, these star players in the NBA are underpaid. What the Mavericks just did is business malpractice of almost to the tune of $1 billion. Like, it's insanity what they did. It's so stupid that they did that. So then, yeah, the human element is Luka seems like a nice guy. He's 26 years old. Like, I feel for him. That's really awful. What the Mavericks chose to do is
malpractice. You said the right word.
So stupid. I can't. I mean, look, we don't know anything about Bill Chisholm. He seems like a nice guy. He listens to the Garden Report. Maybe he's listening right now. Who knows?
For sure not.
But what has happened to the Suns and what has happened to the Mavericks is a 5-alarm fire. That 2 owners came in, and I've said this before, I'm going to keep saying it. What Matt Ishbia is doing with cheap hot dogs and direct-to-consumer streaming is untouchable. I admire Matt Ishbia very much so for that. That's a great thing that he has done. What they have done to the rosters of those 2 teams is despicable. And it kind of breaks the contract between team and fan. Fire Nico is polite. Get that guy out of town like that. I don't know. I cannot believe that. You know, like we're sitting yesterday at a Celtics Hornets game where nothing matters, and the fans are on their feet when Pritchard hits a 3-pointer in the 4th quarter to extend the lead from 15 to 18. Fans really like their team. They really like rooting for the guys they like to root for. Like, they pay lots of money. Yes. They take time out of their day. They travel with their families to go see dudes with shirts with your team name on them put the ball in the hoop. Mm-hmm. And you took that away from them. It's so sucky. It's like absolutely miserable. I would not have the language to describe how upset I would be from like a macro perspective if they jettisoned Jason Tatum out of town in the middle of the night. It would just be such a dereliction of duty from ownership and from the front office. So what the Mavericks did is awful, boneheaded and abhorrent. And other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, the play was great.
Hey, yeah, literally. Still the most viewed live.
That's my rat list, by the way. I'm not gonna have a better one than the Adelson family messing up the.
No,
Mavericks.
It's good. It's good. I mean, it was so big that on this Celtics channel, it is the most viewed live stream we've ever done.
Oh, I'm sure. Shams is most like tweet. Like my sincere first reaction, because I was on my phone when the Shams bomb came through, was sincerely, I think you got hacked.
Yes, no, me too, 100%, absolutely. And we can move into the rat list here because you said that was your rat list.
Has anyone ever said Theo rat list to you?
No, but I like it.
Thank you.
I think. Ooh, we might have. That's a good name. I don't know if we officially named it. I think we actually did name it. So no. So Matt the Rat is the big rat in the middle of your screen you see on YouTube, but you see the small little rat up on the top right next to the word the rat list.
Yeah,
we have never named him, but I think Theo is really, really good, and I'll run that by Sam. But I think we'll call him Theo Rat List. That's really good. So I came on here with good rat lists, or I had good rat lists in the back of my mind, and I never write them down, so I forget what they were exactly.
So maybe your memory is your rat list.
My memory is horrendous. I told this on the pregame show, but I'll tell it on here too for people who haven't listening. So I was I took an overnight bus to New York to get there in time for shoot around. It was 2 to 7 was my bus, and I got on the bus 2 a.m. Right. Obviously, the bus is not full. It was never going to be a full bus. The 2 a.m. bus was not full. Shocker. There was enough for every single person who got on the bus to have their own little 2-seater row of bus. Like, you'll be plenty of space. So I'm like, okay, there's somebody in my row, excuse me, that my assigned seat is in. Let me just go to the back of the bus and I will sit in this back seat. There's a little extra legroom for me. I can kick my feet out if I'd like to. It's next to the bathroom, but that's fine, whatever. So I sit down. Bus leaves at 2:15. I sat down like 1:55, a little bit early, right? Gets around to like 2:07. Lady gets on the bus, starts coming back. She sees me, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like, maybe she'll see me and just turn around and just take an open seat because that's what it seems like everyone else is doing. Everyone's like whispering. It's late at night. Like everyone's like, yeah, whatever. She looks at me. She goes, I think you're in my seat, and like yells. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay. And I got up and I moved to a different seat and I was like, whatever, I'll just sit here. And I moved to the seat that's directly in front of the bathroom. So I cannot lean my seat back. And I know we have had our differences on the airplane seat back. On an overnight bus, I'll concede. You're allowed to lean your seat back. It is late as shit. You can lean your seat back. But I moved into the one seat on the bus where the person leaning his seat back into me, I could not lean back because I was in front of the wall of the bathroom. So I was just cooked. Yes. So, but then I sit down and the lady looks at me and she's like, well, I can sit there if you want. You can sit here. I'm like, I already moved.
It's too late.
Like,
yeah. She caught it in real time.
Whatever, man. And so I just, whatever. And then she sits down and she does one of these for the first, like maybe 10, 15 minutes of the bus ride. Ready?
I don't even know if I'm going to get married. I don't even know if I'd have.
This is my impression of a girl who has a crush.
And just watches TikToks or Facebook, whatever, shorts. No headphones for like 10 minutes at 2 a.m. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You've heard, I said this take in the chat the other day. I think everyone kind of gets the sense that Celtics Twitter is like a way less happy place than it has been in the past. I think it's just a microcosm that civil society is broken and people sincerely do not know how to be in the world anymore. The history teacher in me has a lot of theories why that might be the case, but yeah, people are so weird. Wait, I'll rat list off of that. Southwest Airlines. Have you ever flown that?
I have, but not a long time.
I know that they're changing their policy in May, so this is a short shelf life, but the way that they load their planes is so bizarre. Like,
how so? Explain. What is it?
They don't. Do you not know this? There's not assigned seats.
Yeah. I know there's not assigned seats.
So they line you up in groups. First of all, they like have these pillars. So you have to. They like line you up 1 through 30 and then 30 through 60, and they do that 3 or 4 times. And then people pick. It's just extraordinary madness. People are constantly getting up and like moving into the middle seat. It's so slow. Look, the beef that you and I have about whether or not you should lean back in your your seat. The theory that I would run with is that your beef is with the airline industry, that they have taken from us legroom. They have taken from us creature comforts. They have constantly taken government bailouts. It's a corrupt, awful industry that makes you feel like you're in the lower levels of the Titanic. And so we
JD Davison just got a standard contract. Go JD Davison. That's
Hooray!
dope. That's dope.
Take the rat list off. Put something positive on the screen.
It's a 2-year deal too, which just means it's this year and then he'll have a team option for next year. But that's hype. Good for JD Davison, man. Sorry not to derail your atlas, but that was very cool to see come across the sideline.
Well, let's do some social media. Let other people can see in real time the magic. That's wonderful. Here, that dunk, people.
That dunk.
Wow.
Oh man, that's so sick.
Yeah. Wow. I thought that maybe his time with the organization had come to a close.
Maybe it has. Maybe it still has. But I think it makes so much sense to reward him with this contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Good for JD. I don't know if you have any other lists. We can wrap on a positive note instead. If you
Yeah,
like to.
on JD. That's so fabulous. He's a
Perfect.
nice young man. I've only talked to him here.
He's a
and there.
very
I don't
good
know
guy.
you.
Shout out
Yeah.
JD. He's very cool. Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, subscribe to Celtics Lab. Go check out Cam's work on Celtics Wire as well. You can follow him on Twitter at @CTabatabai. It's on the screen on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at JacksonMoneyBA. That's it for us. Goodbye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.